let's talk about this with Joe Manchin. There's a lot of people I think who potentially could be third-party candidates. They don't have the money in which to become a significant threat. Now, there's data. If you look at just the sheer numbers between the Libertarian candidate, it was Johnson in 2016, and Stein, the Green Party candidate, just on a sheer vote number tally in the electoral states between the two of them, they arguably helped Donald Trump win those elections. Now, you can't, sometimes it's hard, like
counterfactual. You don't know where those votes would have gone.
You don't know for sure.
They could have just stayed home.
But there was a big drop off in third party votes in 2020. Joe Biden wins. And I'm talking about in the specific states that, from the Electoral College. I'm not talking about like California or New York or something like that. But Joe Manchin has been sort of dancing around the question as to whether he would run, but more importantly, who he would run on behalf of, and that is No Labels. No Labels is a billionaire-funded, right-wing billionaires, for the most part, funded, supposedly like third way type of organization, although the actual organization Third Way is feeling besmirched by No Labels because they know that this would hand the election to Donald Trump, presuming he is the nominee. It would probably maybe do so for Ron DeSantis, presuming he is the nominee. But Joe Manchin, if he's contemplating running again in West Virginia in the Senate race, he's down by 20 points right now. Joe Manchin's one way of winning in West Virginia, if he has any way, which he may not, is to prove how much he's not with the Democratic Party, even though he would run as a Democrat. And one of those ways to prove that would be to actually run against Joe Biden, or at least to pretend like he's going to. We don't know yet, but here he is talking about that.
I got to ask you about this. The No Labels political group continues to fund and organize. They're trying to get in all 50 states. They want to be on the ballot to run a third-party ticket. New York Times says that's got Democrats very upset and worried it's going to reelect President Trump. And they say this: at the top of the list of potential candidates is Senator Joe Manchin III, the conservative West Virginia Democrat who has been a headache to his party and could bleed support from President Biden in areas crucial to his reelection. I always ask you, you have not ruled it off and taken it off the table. Is a third-party run still in the realm of possibilities?
Shannon, No Labels has been moving and pushing very hard of the centrist middle, making common sense decisions. People that basically expect us to do our job and not put the political party ahead of the policy in our great country. That's what we've seen happening, and there's more noise and more extremism coming from the far left and far right. They've been pushing this middle. If the middle has pushed what we just saw happen, that was the middle pushing. So that's basically a movement where No Labels has been proposing for a long time. 10, 11, 12 years.
It sounds a lot like what Joe Manchin
basically
says,
has
too.
the voice. It's always what I believed. I believe that basically that's where you make the decisions. You listen to the left and the right. You make sure you leave nobody behind, and you listen to the different persuasions that they might have and concerns. But when it comes, you've got to make common sense.
And common sense for a guy who is a multimillionaire, who has made all of his money trading on his political power, set up his family based upon his ability to appoint people to places and to institutions as governor, to a guy who's God knows how much direct money he'll have made from that pipeline that will go through there. At the very least, the reporting will come out. I mean, I guarantee you that.
Of course.
That's what common sense is. And on some level, it is common sense.
For him, yeah.
I mean, if I have the ability to make a decision that's going to make me, well, it's common sense. Of course, I'm going to do that.
Why wouldn't I enrich myself? I mean, there's certainly no laws that are preventing me from doing so in this insane country that we have where we've legalized corruption.
I keep hearing, don't vote against your interests. Well, that's exactly what I've decided to do. I've decided to vote for my interests at all times
And
as
I vote,
senator.
Yeah, right down the center, so I leave nobody behind because no one was on the bus to begin with. Because when you just strike the entire middle ground on this kind of stuff, what that means in this country is a protection of corporate interests. And that's not a centrist position. That's a right-wing position. It is.
There are organizations that are sort of gearing up for this fight. Now, for Joe Manchin, getting an article like that written about him, he causes headaches for the Democratic Party. That's what he wants.
Of course.
And, maybe we will be fortunate enough for him to get as much ink like that so he doesn't feel like he has to run for president to achieve that. I don't know where his heart is, if he would rather have Donald Trump as president versus Joe Biden. But whatever it is, he clearly, and he's down 20 percentage points in West Virginia. I mean, he's going to do that.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't see the full interview, but I'm hopeful. I don't know why, but I wish Shannon Bream at least would have said, does this have anything to do with the fact that recent polling has just come out and you're down 22 points in a hypothetical matchup with Jim Justice? Any kind of reasoning behind this pivot for potentially a third party bid for president that might have something to do with it? Yeah. Why can't he just go and just be a rich guy in West Virginia? I mean, he's cashed in enough. And it's just amazing to me how any normal person who had that amount of money would just be happy and live their life and hang out on his boat or whatever the boat was called, but not Manchin.